This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour, bonsoir à tous, et bienvenue. Welcome to the last Wada Forum of 2025. This is our final mentorship call of the year, final forum call of the year. So glad you could all make it here with us today. For today's session, we'll be going over some of the last minute things you need to know as far as submission requirements, evaluation guidelines, and even talking about some of the ways your local hubs are coming about with the local evaluation. So those are kind of our key topics for today, as well as just generally being here for Q&A if anything comes up. And we can do the French on an as-needed basis. Bon, on soulève les mains les francophones parmi nous aujourd'hui. Vous pouvez signaler dans le chat si on parle vite et a besoin d'une traduction. Mais sinon, on va continuer en anglais. All right, just making a call out to any French speakers. If we need to do any translation, let us know. But otherwise, we'll continue in English if there's not an ask in the crowd. So here's our knowledge-based resources, more on Cardano, SingularityNet, Intersect, following this QR code, and on the Wada local footprint. Next. Next slide, please. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if I'm having a lag on my side.
We hear you.
Yeah, Megan, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Perfect. So, statement of purpose. And today we have a special event on the personal level. It is Samuel's birthday today. So, I think it'd be a good chance to embarrass him a little bit. I'm gonna have him come up to read both English and French slides today. And don't worry, no one's called out in the chat of being a French speaker, so you have a friendly audience.
Yes, Megan, thank you very much. Today is my birthday. I'm very excited and also honored to do this, but reminding ourselves of our statement of purpose. Yes, this purpose defines why we exist and the impact we aim to make. Reflects our commitment to inclusion, the responsible use of technology, and creating opportunities that lead to lasting change. Yes, so we are committed to elevating underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in a more equitable future. Now, French. Notre mission. Élever le groupe sous-représenté grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable.
Amazing. You're getting so much support in the emojis. It's not easy, and I did put you on the spot. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Appreciate it. And it's always a reminder, right, for our French, brothers and sisters, how challenging it probably is joining these English speaking calls. And always a good example to kind of step in someone else's shoes.
Sure.
But thanks for that.
Laurentine is here, so maybe she can better assess whether I did well or not.
No, I don't think you want a public humiliation.
You did very well. Congrats.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Laurentine. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, so let's go on to our agenda for today. Next slide, please.
Megan, the next slide is already on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm having a lag on my side. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's still loading for me. But basically, we're entering into the last session of the year. So this is kind of our final mentorship corner where we want to highlight things you need to know, right? Make sure everything is crystal clear as we go on break and leave you all to your own devices. So kind of pinning down some of the questions that have been coming about around the kind of requirements, which is, but there's still kind of a requirement. And then what are the guidelines that those to help you all figure out, which projects are the most viable to push forwards. And then finally, just hearing an example from all of you on how you're going about the local evaluation, maybe if there's a need for support or ideas between yourselves, putting that out here for today's call.
Sorry, guys, someone should take over. I just went out.
Oh, the screen share?
Yeah, screen share.
I can jump
And
on it. Can someone send me the link?
pop to the slide and keep. All right. Maybe Tabs is going to pull it up.
Or maybe you can also try and do that from my end. Let me see.
Bon, j'ai aussi mentionné au début, mais je pense que nous sommes plus nombreux maintenant, qu'on allait faire en anglais aujourd'hui, sauf s'il y avait un besoin. Alors, soulevez les mains ou écrivez dans le chat les francophones si vous avez besoin d'une traduction. Mais le contenu aujourd'hui est assez clair dans mon avis. Alors, j'espère que nous pouvons rester ensemble, au moins pour le début.
Is my screen on?
It is on. It's not super friendly. We've removed our mission.
Okay, so let me see.
But you can go ahead and click through because we've gone past that slide.
I'm not even, wait, just give me a moment.
It's one of those days, guys. Thanks for everyone's
Yeah.
patience.
I'm enjoying the silence.
Okay, so Megan, is it on now? Okay, so we're here.
Yeah, once you enter present mode, I'll just confirm.
I think you are sharing the different slides, so I've copied the link. In the
Okay,
chat.
yeah, this doesn't. Okay,
I'm sharing a different slide.
Yeah, so use the one in the chat.
You guys, Sam's in birthday mode. Are we putting too much on him? He needs
Rick,
to relax
I'm sharing a
today.
different slide. I don't understand.
No,
You're showing last
I've put
week's.
the link in the chat. So when you look in the chat, you can find the recent one.
Okay, so this is an old one.
Yeah. So
Oh my God. Oh. Just a moment in the chat. But Megan, we are talking about the team formation and things. So maybe while I'm trying to share, Tabs can take over while I find my way around it. Okay.
Gosh, Tabs, do you want to give kind of an intro, and then we can highlight what we're highlighting on the slide. It's kind of just a recap of where everyone should be at and clarification on exactly what you need to do.
Sure. Hi everyone, pleasure to be in the same space with you again. I'm actually sad that this is our last mentorship call. I've been really enjoying each of these and just slowly seeing this collective intention building up over the weeks. It's been a fantastic program, and I can say on behalf of everyone here at Prisma that we're immensely grateful for all of your efforts. We know it's been a very steep learning curve, and we absolutely commend you for going head on into that. It's not easy. So we hope that that was a process rich with learnings. Yeah, as Megan has already said, where we're at this week is it's sort of deadline week, or the first deadline at least, which is sort of interesting. That's because we're aiming for a continuous evaluation process that makes it much more developmental, much more regenerative, much more evolutionary. And therefore, the end of this week is the deadline for your first hub publications. Some of them have come in already. This is basically an assortment or a collection or a cherry picking. It's basically where you want to present the best bits in the best way possible to try and hook people in and get really curious about learning all about the work that has been happening from the teams on the ground in your hub. We've kind of reached a level of coming to accept that we probably won't have any teams without a hub. So that's it makes things a bit easier, but it's also a bit sad. We'll try and address that better next time around. What else? Submission requirements. Okay, it basically boils down to there's a form for the teams and a form for the hubs, and you need to submit your forms before the end of the week. We have provided some documents to complement that process. The last remaining one or outstanding one is the evaluation guidelines. Yeah, just there's been a lot of things converging, so we're trying to get to everything as fast as possible, and we really appreciate your patience with us as we get everything tied up from our side as well. Like I say, this is just the first submission, so we are encouraging you to iterate heavily. We're encouraging you to keep going, learning about your local context and keep informing your projects. And then that third point, maybe you could take that, Megan.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good intro. And now we have the slides up. We can click through it. Yeah. Olivier is asking for the guidelines. Those are coming up on slide number 3. So now we're going to click through each of these in more detail. So let's go next slide.
Next slide other than the one I have on the screen now, the blockchain
Yes,
integration.
please.
Okay.
So this is kind of our list of resources for you all. You know, we've talked about on Domio course, but then, you know, some feedback that maybe a shorter, more accessible thing would be helpful. So wanted to share another blockchain course from Binance. This is kind of under 3 hours. Highly recommend it. You know, at least, you know, one person at your hub kind of follow it, and it gets a really good picture of some of, you know, blockchain integration overall. And we'll share that in the docs as well, so you can have those links as well as the slides here are shared. then the other way is through, go back, sorry, for a second. Sam, you're going too fast.
Back again.
Just on the blockchain resources. There we go. And then the last thing is the Cat Studio sessions that can be done through the docs. And maybe Tabs, you want to talk about this briefly too.
Did I hear my name?
Yeah, talk about the studio sessions.
Yes, sure. Yeah, so we at Prisma, we organize a studio session once a week, which is a 2-hour slot where we all jump on a call, and the agenda is different every time. It's an open space for people to bring build-oriented topic points, agenda points. And so we touch on various projects that are in development, and it's meant to be a fail-friendly space where you can test out new ideas or come with challenges and work things out together. And by having that space, what happens is it gives everyone the ability to ask for support in a very minimally programmed time. So you just have to be aware that it's happening every week at this time, and you can drop in whenever you like, whenever you feel like it's needed, and hopefully there'll be others, and you can kind of learn from each other and work things out together. I'll try and be there to as many of those as possible. And what we want to do is try and get the ball rolling for cats also beyond the end of this program. So you'll basically have your own space where you can seek out support from each other on your projects, even after the end of the program. But in between now and the start of January, which is when your projects will be evaluated, it's a space for you to, and actually between January and the summit as well, is where you can get that kind of Cardano-oriented support, coding-oriented support, and we can learn together some concepts that might be in the Andamio course or are very relevant to your project. But either way, it's a space where you can bring just any build-oriented questions, and a lot of the time it becomes more than just about building. It gets philosophical as well, of course. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Tabs. So now we can go on to the next slide. And this is just pointing exactly where you need to go. So Tabs we have talked about in past sessions, this week was all about making sure your teams are entered. So it's specifically, okay, go back one to the teams, the participants. Yeah. So we're going to the participants slide.
So I should go back again. One more, or go forward.
One more back from here. Well, even looking at this slide, so what we're pointing to here is what the hub leads, where they go for your form. And then the one right left of it, the participants, you did one iteration of this in the beginning, but this is now one person per team should register your team. That's the essential of what needs to happen by tomorrow. And this is not an announcement. This should already be clear, but just kind of making it explicitly clear for anyone who missed it.
Yeah, Sam, just move one bit, move forward a bit.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much it's lagging on my side or what for the slides.
Yeah, I think a lot of lags from your end.
Sorry. So maybe I've been misdirecting you.
Yeah, by and large, but that's okay. But I guess this is the slide we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. So yeah, it's one person per team that needs to complete the form by the end of the week to make sure your team is registered. This is the one that you can't really make up for later. But then let's go to the next one. The next form is the hub leads, and this is kind of the first iteration of, as Tab was saying, posting your hub story. So throughout this process, all have been uploading quite a lot of various things to the docs. Next, yeah, we're on the hub lead slide. So everyone's been uploading a lot of rich detail to the docs, but this is essentially the point where you as a hub lead start to say, well, you know, a lot of this content is here, but we to really encourage people to look at this, this, and this. So, you know, you can have the other stuff there for reference and things, but it might be, you know, not necessarily something you want to highlight. Maybe it's more raw data. And you're putting them in another place. Like if you have interviews, maybe you have a summary document as well, and you want to point them to the summary instead of to all the raw footage or recordings or transcripts or whatever it is.
Can I jump in and present something from my screen real quick? I have a graphic which I can offer
Perfect.
for people to... Okay.
I'll stop sharing now, perhaps.
Yes, please, brother. And can you allow me to share screen? Oh, okay, it's enabled. It's enabled.
Good to go.
Thanks. So this is a very simple page, you could say, but this is what will appear when people click the See Story button on the hub card on the globe. Let me share that as well, just so that all these pieces kind of click together. Because the idea is that this is where evaluators will be able to come to start learning about your projects. We've touched on this a couple times already. And this section here where it says hubs, you can click there and then you can see hub cards for each of the hubs. And there's this button here which says see story. If I click there, see the link here, the route. Now that we're getting a bit more into technical territory, I'm going to draw your attention here. It has an ID for each hub. And so this is a dedicated space for that hub where their story will be presented. So that's the user journey. And then I'll show this one again just to connect all of the dots. So they do that, they click see story, and then it goes here where they start what basically looks like a learning module. And I'm going to draw your attention to two elements. One, there's this box here, which sets the context. And that's one of the fields in the hub submission form. So the hub leads, when they're submitting, it will say, page 1, what's the first page that you want to link? Because that will then be loaded from your docs into this site here. And then it will say context 1, and that's this box here. So how do you want to set the context for that page that you're then presenting? And then it will say page 2, context 2. And in that way, you're guiding your users through a very linear, very simple step process. 1, 2, 3. Just 3 different pages, but you're able to set the context in a way where you can really highlight to them what is the meaning that you're making out of this page that you're presenting. What do things really mean? Yes, it's nice to talk about concepts and it's nice to talk about what you did and the processes, and that's already awesome. But if you can then also deepen that with what does it really mean for us, for our region, and why is this important? That's a way that you can kind of craft a story to guide your audience to learn and get curious about your work. Thanks. Handing back
Amazing.
to Megan.
Yeah, maybe Tabs, while you have your screen shared, do you want to share the presentation? We had the link in the chat.
Yes, I can.
All right, someone let me know when it's up. I think I have a lag on my side, but we should be on, I think, the third slide where we start to talk about the, not third overall slide, but the third slide of the mentorship corner.
Okay, I think I'm on it.
Where we're looking at evaluation guidelines. Or, sorry.
Project submissions. Maybe it was the second slide.
Yeah, I think, yeah, back to the January 6th deadline.
I think I'm on it.
Brilliant. So for the January 6th guideline, this is what people have asked, what's kind of the final requirements. And, there's not a lot required. Everyone is kind of free to be at the level that your project is at. But as far as an actual requirement, one piece is a video. So, and this is essentially for the top 3 teams from each hub, and up to you at a local level if you want to require this earlier as part of your initial evaluation, or if you want to do it in person or live in another way, where it doesn't sort of matter if we can see it or not. But for those top 3 teams from each hub, we need, first of all, the hub lead to kind of identify, and then there will be a form that will be due on the 6th where they're identifying the top 3 teams, and that will be the next iteration of, what Tabs was talking about earlier on that Communities of Place tab on the CATS website, where you'll fill out kind of that final list. And with that, each of the projects should have a short kind of overview video. And we have some suggestions on what to include in that video, although I would say there's not requirements other than some technical requirements for it. So let's look on the next slide at kind of some of those suggestions.
Yeah.
So this is basically a video to showcase your project. So to give us a high-level overview, here's some questions to consider. You don't have to answer any of them. You don't have to answer all of them, but it's suggestions, I'd say.
Megan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've lost the screen. So maybe Tabs, you want to read through them? I haven't
Yeah,
memorized
well,
the questions.
I was actually thinking of suggesting maybe we could ask people from the audience to read through them as well, just to spice things up a bit.
Brilliant. Any
Would anyone
volunteers?
like to unmute and jump straight in? Please feel free.
Okay, I'm reading. Can you hear me?
Cool. Hi, Laurentine. Yes, please go for it.
Yeah, so the video should give a high-level overview of your project. Some questions to consider. how you organize yourselves in response to the potential you are working on. How is your solution working for your community? What is your project's role in your region? What makes your solution unique? It's not supposed to be more than 5 minutes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Megan, over to you.
Yep. So I'm seeing some questions also coming into the chat, but this is, people asked what are the requirements, and we were intentionally vague in the sense that, a project can be at many different phases and is still valid and important. So it's really ultimately, kind of in your potential, right? So someone asked, does it have to have an MVP? Won't MVPs be presented also videos? So that's in this video, you could have a demo. You can have other videos as well. But we want people to have like one main entry point to look at your project, right? Because all these docs are very rich. There's a lot of background. So it's just an intro, capture your audience, and then they go to look more. Maybe you have a 15-minute demo video as well, where you walk through your MVP. But this is kind of what we need to make the projects accessible, I'd say. I hope that answers the question.
Oh, yes, thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next part, which is talking about kind of on a high level, what will the evaluators be prioritizing? And then, I don't know, Tabs, if you want to talk a bit about this and I can jump in with you, or...
Yeah, sure. I was just unmuting to say that we're there. Oh, maybe it's my laptop. I'm seeing my screen sharing is paused. My apologies. I am screen sharing. Let me just make sure this. Okay, sweet. All right. So yeah, the top 5 projects. The way to understand this, what we're presenting here, is that this will also be offered to the evaluators to guide them, so that we can all sort of kind of get on the same page, and it's trying to support us in being able to reach each other and not miss each other. All right, so project evaluation guidelines, high priority, the clarity with which you present your work, and the relevance of your project to the region. How feasible is the planned Cardano integration, and sustainability? So does your project show signs of having a very tangible long-term trajectory? Is it viable? Will it really be able to sustain itself going forwards? Medium priority. The proposed solution and the innovation. The community value and impact. Team collaboration and execution. Yeah, this last point is interesting, because in the storytelling that you'll be doing, you'll hopefully be surfacing your approach to organizing yourselves to do that work, which is very reflective. It's reflective to make that visible. You will be able to make that visible by saying, we started off by doing it like this, then we were surprised by this, so we adapted to try and approach it this way. It's a reflective kind of process. Low priority, the technical prototype, and the hub's participation throughout the hackathon. Okay. Megan, handing back over to you.
Oh, sorry, looking for the unmute button. Well, now I'd love to hear from the local hubs, and I did talk to Mermos about sharing his perspective today, but would love to hear anyone else as well after him, if you would like. So now I'd like to call Mermos up to talk about this local hub evaluation. You know, how are you thinking about doing it? What are some ideas that you've had on it? Because we did have quite an interesting discussion in the French room last week, starting to announce or talk about these plans. And I think it'd be great to hear from you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Memos here. Last week we had a really interesting discussion in the French room, and Megan called me up to share some of the ideas that we had all together. The first idea that we had for the evaluation was that we have part of the evaluation that will be done by the people in the hub. So we have a Mentimeter set up. So people will choose their top 3 projects. Everybody that participated in the hackathon will choose their top 3 projects. Keeping in mind that we are all working together. So we hopefully will have the best result out of it, according to what is the project that is the most suitable to represent the hub as a whole. That's for 50% of the evaluation. And then we can have external evaluators. And we thought about bringing in other hub leaders or other hub members who want to assist us in doing so. We had a discussion with Laurentine, for instance. We have a hackathon on Saturday happening at the same time. So one thing that we're thinking about was to synchronize in terms of when we are presenting our projects, so that the people from the Burkina Faso can actually access what we are doing here and help us evaluate our projects, and we can do the same for them. For instance, this is one idea that we had. So we're thinking about 50 ourselves and 50 other people looking at the project with the context that we'll be providing them locally. And another reason we're thinking about doing it with other francophones is because we can do it in French, they can understand. And also we have a sense that they better understand the context that we are living in, because there are many similarities. So that was one of the strategies that we adopted in terms of evaluation. So yeah, that's what I can share so far. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, does the other hub want to come forward and talk about your plans or even your obstacles? Last week, another thing that emerged was kind of I think a mini collaboration between the French hubs about helping each other evaluate for some improved kind of transparency and trust in the process. But I think at this point we can sort of open it up to all questions, as well as if anyone else wants to share. We'll even end early today. Did everyone get the information you needed? Are there any outstanding questions before people become less available? I won't say unavailable. We will still be available throughout the break, but not so much on these calls. Yeah, Mermos. I I think I saw your hand up first, and I also see Alfred.
Yeah, I have one question. There are some members who were in charge, some team groups were in charge, team leaders were in charge of registering their teams, who mentioned there were some errors, people that were missing in the registration. Is it possible to update that in a way, or is it done? That was the first question. And last time I was also raising the question of participation, completion certificates or something like that. Again, I insist, we have a lot of students. Most of them have been managing their time to go through their midterms and participating in the hackathon, and they would really like to have something to show for it, except for the the entire process that they learned and all that. They want to have something to show for it. So what about that? Coming back again with that same question.
Yeah, I'm happy to take these. Thanks, Mermos. Good to hear from you. Hope you've been well. So on the first one of updating teams, yeah, that's fine, no worries. The only issue with that is that the system doesn't currently allow for that because we need to tweak the form. So do you think it would be okay to leave it as it is for until this current deadline, and then we can iterate the form and start and allow for team updates at that point? Would that be okay?
Yes, it will. Thank you.
Okay, great. So to clarify, everything within an existing team record can change. So you can add new members, you can change how you've worded things. That's all fine. And I'll make sure to communicate when when those changes have been made. The second thing of a certificate, yeah, that's really cool. I would like to do that as well. We haven't discussed yet how we will do that, but as you were speaking, some things came to mind. We could probably do it through the Globe interface as well because the team cards are there. So maybe we could make another form that would collect information like people's photos and something like that, like maybe their highlight. But either way, we have the data to kind of present some top level statistics like when people joined and things like that. So that's something that we can do, and I think we should address that. Thanks for that suggestion.
I think Megan is breaking up, so I take over her seat in the interim while she prepares to come back. Are we in the question and answer mode now, Tabs?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so I see Alfred's hands up. Alfred, you go, and while you do that, Olivia can also get it ready. After Alfred, we go for Olivia. Alfred,
Thank
can you
you.
go? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. So I joined the meeting late. Like we did our hackathon, in-person hackathon today, so we just like rounded up a few hours ago, and we had to rest.
Oh,
And
that's
before we
great.
know it, time.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Also, we'll share more video on that. Well, okay, my
Sure.
question is: so I joined, and midway the presentation, I saw that Orbs will be submitting 3 teams. So that means any orb, like currently our orb currently have up to 12 teams at the moment. Yeah. So does it mean the teams that are open to submission, like the teams, let me just say the teams that can, have the fighting chance of going to Nairobi are just 3 teams from a hub. Is that what it means?
That's
I
a
don't know
good
if you guys
question.
understand.
Yeah, no, I do
Okay.
I do understand. Well, the thinking behind why the hubs would present 3 teams is to kind of streamline the distance that the evaluators have to travel so that they can relatively effectively get a sense for which projects they want to select. That's so if we ask for each hub to surface 3, let's say there's 10 hubs, then each evaluator has 30 projects to review first. That's kind of a lot more realistic than having 125 projects, for example. So that was where our thinking on that came from. But your point, I see you're saying that 3 is not enough, which is awesome. And what I would say to you is that you can make that clear in how you tell the story, that there's many more projects worth evaluating and worth looking at, and you can strongly encourage the evaluators to read deeper into your work. I'm fully aligned with evaluators reading further than just the first 3 project video submissions. So yeah, I recognize that structure is a little bit limiting. But yeah, I hope what I said was helpful.
Yeah, I understand that. But from your angle, I'm also getting something that if evaluator actually have the time, we are able to persuade and convince evaluators to actually go through our docs and check out all teams that is listed on our docs, and so what you're saying is that even if an evaluator actually or evaluator actually found interest in a particular project, in a particular team that we the hub didn't present, are you saying those people still have the chance, to being picked and be the top
Yeah.
5 team into Nairobi?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. That is just what I want to know. I want to know that if we are presenting those 3 teams, does it mean the rest of the teams they are not part of the teams that have a chance of going to Nairobi? That is what I wanted knowing. And also, after that, now my next question is so the hubs are in charge of picking the top 3 winners in each hub, and deciding on how, we have the independence, to decide on how what 3 teams will be presenting, will be submitting.
Okay, how I'm going to respond to that question is I'm going to walk through a image in my head, a user journey. So I'm going to bring myself into the shoes of an evaluator. And I click onto this See Story section and I start this presentation that the Hub has published. There's 2 routes that came to mind, 2 versions of how this story could go. And I'm highlighting these 2 versions to be able to highlight the difference in approach. One version is you present 3 projects. You say, this is the top project that we've selected because of these reasons. This is the second project, and this is the third. Thank you very much. This is our work. Yeah. That's the first version. The second version is our region really cares about this. These are some of the most important systems for us to work on because of these reasons. And based on those systems of focus or these themes, some of the most relevant projects are these ones, but there's also many more working on the same kind of overall movement, let's say. And so what I'm trying to say is you can present it in a way where you're mentioning the three teams in a way where it's clear that this is just a few out of many very strong projects. So it depends on how you want to present it and how you want to try and engage your evaluators, is what I'm trying to say. And by the sounds of it, you're recognizing that there's more than three teams that have real potential and are doing very meaningful work. And I think that's your point. That's your story. That's part of what you've got to present.
Yeah, I do understand that. And yes, there are a lot of projects that I actually want to, for them to be out there, like not exclude them from, because you just have limited slots. Yeah. But I understand that part and I already know how to go about it. So what I want to know now is, and I think I've asked this question before, but didn't get an answer, is like, now, for the prizes being given, the 500 ADA, 200 ADA, and 300 ADA, like for the top 3 projects, are we also submitting that to Wada and Prisma? Like, are the evaluators, the global evaluators, also the one choosing the top 3 winners for each hub, or the hub are choosing themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I see how I misinterpreted your question before. I will hand to either Sam or Megan to talk about that.
Can you hear me? I want to try to jump in here.
Can, yes.
Yeah, Megan, go
Okay,
ahead.
great. So yes, it will be at the local level that the top 3 are selected, and that's part of what Mermos was presenting on earlier. But it's up to your hub to decide how you want to do it. It could be a vote amongst participants. You could try to bring in a couple of outside mentors, to help create like a judging panel. Or there's different ways to go about it. But the short answer is yes, it would be at the local level for you to decide how to come.
You went on mute, Megan.
Does that answer the question? Is there a
Yes, it
follow-up?
does. Yeah, it does.
right.
Thank you very much.
I just want to offer something to complement what Megan has said, because it came to mind very clearly, is like thinking in terms of win-win. If the hub is really responsible for deciding or facilitating how that prize money is distributed, which could be a collective decision-making process. One outcome is you could do it in a way where it's sort of first, second, and third, etc. And that might give those top 3 teams 2 months, 3 months of runway for those team members to be able, or 6 months or a year or whatever, to be able to continue working on that project. An alternative, and I don't know if this is a bit radical and throwing a curveball in here, but imagine, I'm just giving this as an example, imagine one hub collectively decides that the way to make that money stretch the furthest is to give it all to one project, because in 1 year, that one project is going to unlock 50 jobs or something, for an example. And if the hub and everyone in there is really in touch with that and feels like that's the most effective way to distribute that money, and it's clear that the hub is facilitating that decision making with integrity, then that might be a really cool move to do. And so I just wanted to offer that example to try and highlight that you can think in terms of win-win, even though there's finite resources.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of that. One of the things that even came to my mind was like, okay, focusing on the hackathon itself, I'm thinking that, okay, would it be like we split the price into 2? Teams, the top 3 teams, that have a higher fighting chance of, competing in the global stage of going to the going to Nairobi, won't participate in the the local reward, on the 300 ADA, the 500 ADA. So they could actually choose which, or they want to go to Nairobi or they want to receive this prize and stop their journey here. So I was also thinking of a win-win, but it's something we will collectively decide in the all. Thank you.
Sam, Megan.
I know, I think we had some good questions. I hope everything is feeling final enough that people feel free to not meet again weekly. But I'll just pause in case there's any pending, lingering questions anyone has.
Yeah, we have a couple of hands raised still. So
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I think Megan is still lagging. Olivier's hand has been up for quite a while now. Olivier, you can have your time now.
Okay, thank you for the floor. So my first question is about, so I don't know whether if I came late, but really I don't know what teams supposed to submit by tomorrow. This is the first question. The second question also, so team here, they are building, but for some blockchain things they need support. I don't know where can we directly address us in order to let them have support on Cardano integrations. Thank you.
cool. Okay, thanks for those questions, Olivier. And I do see your hand raised, Solomon. We'll get to you as soon as we can. Okay, Olivier, are you on a desktop? Are you on a computer or are you mobile?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I'm going to share screen and you can follow along. And I also encourage you to refer to this video recording to share with the teams. So we'll try and make this available as soon as possible after the call because the deadline is tomorrow, as you've recognized. So you can go to the link cats.wada.org/enrollment. And that's
Okay.
all lowercase and all is just one L. We had the funny difficulties with that the other day. For teams, you asked about teams, right? They come to this link and they click here, the participants, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I will do straight after the call is I will put French translations beneath each of these fields here. So at the moment it's in English, but I'll write the French underneath. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, so then the teams, they come here and they start filling out this form. And as they go, it has multiple stages. And all the teams need to do is fill out all of this form. So it asks you about the team members. It asks you a bit later on about your logo. If you have one, don't worry if you don't, it's optional. It asks you about what the team is working on, what's the project about. And once they fill out this form, they're done. That's it. They can then also come back to that later and they can update it. But the deadline is to get your first version submitted before the end of day tomorrow. That was the first question you had. Did that clarify some things?
Olivier, you're on mute if you are talking. Caps
Okay.
wants to know
Please,
if
please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For this, I understand. Yeah. For that question. So to mean teams are going. So we are going to share them to today. Yeah. I understand. Then the second question.
Yeah, can you remind me of the second question? I'm trying to remember it.
Okay. Second one was about teams support for technical
Oh, yeah.
issues. Yeah. Cardano integration and such a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we touched on this a bit earlier. We're offering a space for peer-to-peer learning, and we'll try and show up to that as much as possible. So I'll try and drop in and moderate and help as much as I can. But these regular calls are a place to learn about how to integrate Cardano into your project. And then as well as that, there was a slide in the slides that have been presented today that's reference to the Andamio course, which is the main thing of how you'll learn about how to integrate Cardano. I'm trying to find it. So if you, I'll send you the recording as soon as we have it, and it will help because we talked about these points here. We'll share these slides as well. But this is basically what I've just said. The space for peer-to-peer learning, these Catch Studio sessions, they're accessible through docs.wada.org, because if you go to that link, docs.wada.org, and on the main page, when you then scroll down, you have this agenda here. And in this agenda are event cards for each of the main programmed items that we have. So we'll add the studio sessions here. So you can then click on them and find all of the information that you need of how to attend. And in those spaces, in those events, will be where you can learn from each other about how to integrate Cardano and work out those details.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
And as always, please reach out if you need anything.
Sure.
That's good.
Solomon, are you ready now?
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. I want to find out. I understand that HAP lists would are those who would do the top 3 selection, if I'm right. And if that's true, I'd like to find out is Prisma going to, or Wada going to give us a criteria to use him to select that, or we are going to use our own. For example, HAP list will use their own discretion, to be able to come out with a selection. For instance, if you have very good, team formations of 5, 6, 8, and they all have good topics, are we going to use our discretion based on our experience, or Wada or Prisma will be giving us a guideline to select these 3? That's number 1. Number 2, if you have 6 teams, they all are doing very well, very active, with high hopes, and then 3 are selected. The other 3, are we just going to say, okay, thank you so much for your work done, you have done well, but you try next year, or there's going to be some other form of motivation for them as well, to just so that they are not demoralized somehow. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for those questions. Yeah, and it is a bit related to Alfred's question. For the first one, it's in the slides that we presented today as well. There was a slide on the project evaluation guidelines. We've kept them relatively high level because it does also require the hub's discernment, as you were saying. And so one key point here is that this is also what we will be offering to evaluators, to say, hey, this is how we've guided the hubs. So they will be aware of this as well. So it's a combination of these points that you see on screen now and your own discernment, discretion. And the second point, so the response I would give to that is that because this work is systemic, if you're working with relationship to other projects, it will make all of those projects look stronger. And the upside, something that they can walk away with, even if they're not one of the top 3 teams, is being part of that whole community, that whole organizing impulse, or the beginnings, these new beginnings that are being worked on, that can continue after the end of the project. And we this came up earlier in the call today as well. We will make a certificate that recognizes people's participation.
Okay. Okay.
Any more questions? Looks like no one's hand is up. Taz, did you see any question in the chat that you want to react to?
No, I don't see any further questions.
We have already done 10 minutes past the top of the hour. I don't know, maybe some final words.
Hello, sorry, I want to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, with the team selection, if the hub selects 3 teams to be submitted for the main hackathon, are they also going to determine this is the first team, for that matter, they get 500 ADA, this is the second team, they get 300 ADA, this is the third team, they get 200 ADA, or they will just select the teams and then leave that to the final judges to decide? Thank you.
Okay, so thanks for the question. We touched on this a little bit already previously in the call, so I'll offer a different perspective on that. This question you could bring to other hubs and discuss to try and work out for yourselves how to make that money stretch the furthest. And there might be some very creative ideas that come out of that come from being open to that question of how you can use those resources most effectively. And there might even be some surprises. Maybe you can find some inter-hub collaboration, because these projects can be energized in many ways other than money. I know that money is a real game changer, but be open to the possibility is what I would say. But to give you a short answer as well, because I know I do ramble and sometimes that gets confusing, you can also just choose first, second, third, allocate the money. My advice would be to try and include as many of the teams in the decision-making process as you can do, so that your role as hub lead is facilitating what's best for those teams that you have incubated. Okay, I think that's all questions. Sam, over to you.
Yes, Tabs, I think so too. Do you have any high-level final words before we?
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, Jimmy.
Okay, sorry. I don't know if the evaluation criteria can be shown once more. I just want to see it. I just want to get a glimpse at it. Sorry.
Sure. We will share these slides. And this is just guidance as well. And we're offering this as guidance to the evaluators as well. And like I've said, we'll make sure that they know we've guided you both with the same points, but it is still open to their interpretation as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, no worries. Also, as always, please do feel free to reach out if anything comes up after this call, either in the big chat on Telegram or the Hub Leads chat, or to me directly. Any of those places, I'll be picking them up. I think there's also WhatsApp spaces, and we'll make sure to coordinate so that all questions are responded to. Sam, over to you to close out the call.
Thank you. And I guess this has been a good call, very engaging. Most of you asking relevant questions and types. Thank you for taking the time to answer them one after the other. As Megan said in the intro, It's like the last of the Wada Forum for the year 2025. We have come a long way. Thank you. Those of you who have joined us from day one till now. We are back sometime next year. We will make the formal announcements in our social platforms. We understand that most of you are gearing up. I mean, the hub leads or the hubs are gearing up for the in-person events. Some of you have done it already. I just heard on the call that Zaria Hub did it. That's great. We wish you well, but we are on standby. If there are anything, just reach out like Tav said, and then let's carry on from here. Wish you good luck. We wish you success in all you do, and let's connect somewhere, sometime next year. Thank you, Prisma team. Thank you, Wada production team. Thank you, our participants. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you when we see you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
You. Same.